I have in my hands an LA Golf Trono 65 shaft, and they're a bit of a beast of a shaft. For a 65 stiff, it is a very stiff shaft. It doesn't have much bend in it. I can't get much action from it. Normally I'd be looking at something extra stiff, a fairly low launch-in, low torque profile to kind of match this sort of performance. But I really like it. It goes a long way. However, it's very expensive for just a shaft. Now what I'm trying to determine here today is, can I find, or have I found, a cheaper alternative? Is there a lower cost shaft that performs in a very similar way to this one? I think I might have found a little nugget. So this is over £300, around that sort of area. The one I'm looking at is £72 for the raw shaft plus fitting, maybe plus a tip, maybe plus a grip. But we're looking at under £100 for this alternative that I'm going to introduce shortly. I'm using both of these shafts on the Strixon ZX5 LS. This is 9.5 degrees. It's on the lower loft setting. I like that because it gets the face to sit more open. I tend to hug the left-hand side, as you can see there. The characteristics of the Trono shaft is that we've got a very stiff butt section, we've got a very stiff tip section, and most of the action comes from the middle of the shaft, which apparently is where you get most difference in flight. There we go, a little bit straighter, with a bit of draw still. It feels nice and solid. And it's also got quite a matte finish on it, so that kind of like noise that you get from rubbing your hand down it is quite satisfying. Safe to say I've got a bit of a uniform shape going in there. I have hit balls before this video, so I am a little bit warmed up. But the shaft I'm talking about is the Grafalloy Blue. So this shaft's been around for a while. This is, I think, the second generation of the shaft. I've got it here, Grafalloy Blue in a stiff flex, so it's a similar weight. It's the same flex. I want to see if this lower cost shaft can keep up with something that is quite a bit more expensive. Both shafts are spine aligned, so I've got the spine on each shaft in the same place. The shaft basically goes in some ball bearings and it finds a bend point. It goes to the same bit and it keeps going back to that same point. So I get that same point in the same place, so we should get the same relative differences between the two shafts. Right, does this puppy keep up with the big dog? A little bit off the heel. Now in a similar way, these don't bend much. They're quite stout, they're very stiff for what they are. Even in a regular flex, it's quite a hard shaft, which you can explore in my other video. It feels just as good. It looks very different, obviously, because it's a different color. Safe to say that both of these shafts, you need to hit them. They need to get some force put on them. They need to get some bend and release. You have to put some swing speed on these shafts. If you already have quite a lot of swing speed that you need to tame, then they could well be a good one to get going. Obviously the LA Golf shaft is quite an expensive experiment. Similar shape. That's gone a little bit further though. Just turned over a little bit too much. So last three shots with each shaft, I'm going to call these ones A and B on the monitor. I'm going to hit these absolutely flat out. I'm going to step on them as much as I can to see how they unwind. Nice. I can give it the beans. I've opened up to feel a little bit of the fade. That takes away my draw. Up at 324. Testament that you have to bang them. Similar flight, a little bit of a fade, just moving a little bit further away. It's right up there though. 319. Open up, give it the full beans. Oh, a little bit high on the face, but it's traveling. Pretty good for high on the face. Okay, one for luck. Full ticket, full send. There, there. It's not got the same shape, but it is traveling. If I'm going to miss the target, miss it further up. 323. Does this Grafalloy Blue keep up in the same way? Same thing. A little bit further right. That is very unusual for me, but this is golf. Leveled out, little draw, it's going some. It's getting up there, decent carry. 324, very similar. Getting out there, carrying over just under 300. 324 or 25. So I've had one bad shot with each shaft. Let's give it 3 good against 3 good. I feel like I can step on both of these shafts. Sometimes with a shaft that bends more, when I'm really going for it, I can feel it wobble and distort and vary. These things certainly keep up. So stock swings, we're looking at very similar spin, very similar launch angle, slightly higher on the Grafalloy Blue, fairly similar speed, but slightly faster ball speed with the Trono. Carry 1 yard in it, a bit more variance in the Blue, 3 yards in it on the total distance for stock swing. When I'm going flat out, I've got a little spike in speed, and we are slightly faster on the Grafalloy Blue now. Lower on the Grafalloy Blue, very similar spin, very similar carry, separation, like 4 variants against 5 variants, quite similar again, 319 against 318. For a cheaper alternative, that's not bad. And then we're getting very similar variants between those two shafts. The LA Trono is a fantastic bit of kit, but just consider there's something out there that might be worth trying if you want to go down that route without spending big money first. Dispersions, going flat out on the Grafalloy Blue had a bigger spread, quite tight dispersion rings here and here. That is actually that's the Grafalloy Blue stock swing, the tightest circle there, and then it gets bigger when I go at it. So more variance on faster swings. The Trono, again, if you're swinging, I think if you're jumping up to these sorts of speeds, the Trono is a much tighter dispersion. The Grafalloy Blue, just a bit more sparity in dispersion before. So when I'm going flat out, I level out my swing path. When I'm going normal, I get a little bit more in to out, which is why I get a bit more draw. I quite like doing these sorts of tests, so if there's anything that you want to see done, drop yourself in the comments. I will try and accommodate if I can. At the minute, not earning much money from the videos, but if I can do what I do, if I can get the components in my normal daily business, I can drop them in a video and let you know what's going on with them. Quite an interesting one there where we haven't seen a massive difference between those two shafts, even though there's a very different price point. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you like what you see and you want to see more. See you on the next one.